You're listening to the AfterBuzz TV Network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith Johnson.
The AfterBuzz Studios in Los Angeles, California. Presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AfterBuzz TV's Bar Rescue After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AfterBuzz TV's Bar Rescue After Show.
Welcome back, everybody. Bing is for doing it, and we are doing it here at AfterBuzz. Welcome to Episode 3, Season 2 of Bar Rescue, called Murphy's Mess. I think that was appropriately titled. Tonight, we're huge fans of the show, and we've been going back and forth with Mr. Taffer and a lot of the different employees that have been appearing in each episode, and so we're so excited to bring you guys the inside scoop that you can only find here at AfterBuzz TV. And I'm your host, Kimlai. You can follow me at Kimlai Yingling, and I'm going to have Dorinda introduce.
Hi, I'm Dorinda, and you can follow me at Lula Cherry Films.
Oh, isn't that nice? Keven Undergaro here.
I'm Phil Pallen. You can follow me at Phil Pallen.
Awesome. Marissa, do you want to go ahead and tell everybody about the new phone lines?
Yes.
Yay.
We actually have a new phone number for all you listeners out there. It is 818-990-9201. Again, that is 818-990-9201. So for all you listeners out there, that's a new number. Call in. We'd love it.
Marissa, you have such a cute voice. Oh, it was so cute.
Marissa, has anyone called this number yet?
No, we haven't.
So we're the first ones to announce this?
Yes, brand new number.
We're breaking ground.
Be excited.
Cool.
We're breaking ground. Okay, everyone, before we get into the episode, we have proof that Jon Taffer has been watching the after show here at AfterBuzz.
Wow.
I know.
I love that.
I know.
It's really cool, actually.
So he sent a direct message a few days ago saying, I just wanted to address the conversation you guys were having asking about security. And it was specifically, Keven had wondered if there was security because Jon Taffer is very assertive in this season. And he does not have personal security, but he does have security. The studio has security, as with most studios. There's always security on the outside. But he doesn't himself personally have security.
Gotcha.
So there you go.
Gotcha.
You got it right here. Right here. All right. Let's go ahead and start
But I
breaking
wonder if there's
down.
more than you know, like when you do like with Bad Girls Club
Yeah.
or Real World, there's a lot of security because they know what they're getting into. And Jersey Shore, same thing. And it's, I'm sure, you know, I don't know, like let's just say the Osbournes or like, so just I don't know, that's dated. But I'm just saying some other reality shows, Ice Road Truckers or whatever, you're not really going to have security. So it's just interesting. I wonder how much he has versus, say, those other shows because it's, I mean, I'm seeing every week a really heated confrontation.
And you feel it. It feels like we're there. I'm not even in the
Right.
argument, but I
Right.
feel like I'm there.
And you're in a bar environment, so you've got drinking going on. And, you know, it's not like bar owners aren't really pussycats. So, you know, you're dealing with the type of people that are used to the brawling and the, so, I don't know. I mean, he probably would have indicated if it goes there, I think, but it's, maybe we won't see it this season, but man, it's getting close.
Continuously building up. I mean, because obviously last season he wasn't this assertive verbally.
No, he's very, very aggressive.
This season he's a little bit more.
He's maybe a little more fed up. I don't know. I mean, I still am. I know we have this episode and there's another episode we still have to do. I'm still traumatized by the pirates.
The Pirates
And
Tavern.
the more you know, I've digested it. You know, I had said, you know, geez, maybe if Jon had a softer bedside manner, he could have gotten his point across, and that might be true. But I was wrong, realizing I was wrong to say it because Jon is a consultant who technically was hired by them. It's not like this isn't this isn't intervention or hoarders, right? Where this guy's coming in and really fighting to get them to change their ways. He is, wow, we're lucky we've got this guy giving us this free service. And so it's not his place to really coddle or do that. It's his place to simply say, here's all your mistakes and here's how to fix them. And it just speaks to that awful lesson that, we only listen to the lessons we pay for. And I know that in my business, all the time, it's like, for hosting or breaking into the business or whatever, it's like I can say, okay, it's ABC, and the amount of fight and pushback that I get, and I'm like, hey, if you were paying me, you wouldn't be saying anything right now. You'd be taking notes. But
I don't think that's always the case.
It's not always the case, because obviously tonight's episode proves that. But in general, if those people were paying him, what is his rate? It's got to be thousands of dollars an hour.
Well, another thing, when we were going back and forth, he was talking about how he has 5 days. 5 days to go in, figure things out, bring the team in,
no
do
time
the
for
reconstruction.
BS. No time.
There is no time.
There's no time for it.
And he feels that this amount of him being this assertive, it shows his passion, because he is completely passionate about the bar business and about helping people succeed. That's the bottom line.
Right.
You've called him. He's coming in to save your butt.
Right. We saw that when he came back the next morning, right? He almost admitted that he had a bit of an episode the night before. I mean, he really freaked out because of the connection with his daughter. But he
this is the introduction to Sam, which is his daughter, which is she's also a bartender.
Right. And she's in the business. So he, of course, even freaked out even more.
Right. And we saw that. It was pretty elevated.
Yeah, and when he walked in, I was just like, is this really how it's going to go the whole episode? Because I'm
glad it didn't.
I was so happy that it was like a total 180 when he walked in, and the rest of the show was him really caring about these people and everything that happened to them. What was
so, I mean, for me, being a fan of the show from the day one, and then also a fan of Kitchen Nightmares, I don't think I've ever seen a kitchen. I mean, I'm still I'm short of breath, and the rat droppings and the insects and
What about the dead rat? That's what really got me.
I know, I couldn't figure out what that was. It's like a rat mixed with dirt and fuzz.
You would do
like my chest is tight. My chest is
explain it to us.
Just thinking about it.
Go.
First of all, I think towards the end they show you what the rat looked like.
Yes.
Because it was all the dirt and grime and everything. That rat was petrified when you actually see it at the end. It was, it looked like a stuffed animal, and it wasn't. And there's the problem. And they never cleaned this place.
No.
Which just enrages me so much. And then you would serve people food. And then we can even go into when we go to the bar, I'll talk about that at length, because I was just
as a bartender.
Yeah, I was.
But in that kitchen, this is the most disgusting bar rescue kitchen I have ever seen.
And what surprises me is the fact that Joel and Keith, the two owners of the bar, and we are going to be talking to Keith, where Keith is going to be calling in just a bit. Their lack of knowledge they bought a business and obviously didn't know anything about running a business. And I know for a lot of people, it does sound like it's a good idea. You go to high school with someone, you go to college with somebody, it's a great idea. Let's open up a business together. It'd be fun.
No, it's one more step than that, Kim, for a guy. It's every guy's fantasy to own a bar.
A bar.
Yeah.
So you're getting yes, let's work with a friend, and then it's like, hey, let's open a bar.
You're right. I met a gentleman the other night, and it's like, so what do you want to do with yourself, when you're all done with school, et cetera, et cetera.
They open a bar.
I want to open a bar.
That's it.
And I was like, have you ever been in a bar? Is it in your family? No. It's just something he's always wanted to do.
But here's what frustrates me so much, and this is with just whatever, with people in general, is, okay, I get you don't know the bar business, so you don't know how to pour a drink, and you don't know the etiquette, and you don't know that. Cleaning is cleaning. What the fudge? Cleaning is cleaning. Really? That is disgusting.
Yeah.
That is like so
you were saying that.
Gross. That has nothing to do, you don't need to know business.
No.
To look at our table here at AFTERBUZZ, and I look how clean this is. It's like cleaning is cleaning.
I could talk hours on
please,
that whole thing
because I'm like I want to explode.
Here's one of the telltale signs of any bar you will ever walk into. You can tell if a bar is clean or not by the way it smells, and it's a certain way. There is a distinct smell when you walk into a bar that has not been cleaned. for a while. And I just recently walked into a bar, won't say any names, and walked out because of that reason. It's just the smell and the way that they talked about it. I could already smell what that was.
We could smell it through the TV.
Yeah, and it was just gross. And then when you start to see everything on top of how dirty this place was, the soda guns right off the bat, every night that should be soaked in soda water or in regular water, or even just the tops, because all that sugar, I mean, how they didn't have fruit flies, I have no idea.
I don't think the fruit flies could live there.
Yeah,
That's why.
it was just, it
was so gross that even those organisms couldn't live there.
No, and then I could
What'd you guys think of the cook? So it was staying in the kitchen. What'd you guys
okay.
think of the cook?
You know,
Come on, be honest. Come on now.
I don't know why she was back there.
Well,
She had no
no.
business back there.
I wasn't sure why she was back there either. And I was wondering, it's like, I'm noticing, even this is the second episode that we've watched, I'm noticing that it's like, what's the criteria for cooking in a bar? I mean, do you have to have one?
It seems like an afterthought.
Because it's in
Like, we
food is
throw someone
supposed to
back
be,
there.
you know, food, drinks. It's why you're going to a bar. I mean, obviously the atmosphere as well. But I felt bad for her. You know, let's get into the kitchen.
Yeah.
That's where we're going anyway.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, they took this girl. Well, first of all, you have two guys. It starts from the top. Two guys who've never opened a bar. They're living a dream and never thought about the repercussions of anything that they were going to do about opening up this bar. They hire this nice woman. She's a nice woman.
Very nice.
Very nice. I felt bad for her when John was going.
Horrible.
Oh, it was
Oh,
awful.
to
And
see
the
her
look on her
face?
face,
Her
like
face.
the bright eyes and everything. But
That's what
he
I
was
didn't understand.
right, because she was cooking. She didn't even have gloves on. She wasn't even cleaning her hands, touching raw chicken and then touching cooked food. I mean, I was grossed out within the first 5 minutes of watching this show
But, you know,
today.
do you think I don't think she knew. I mean, she's not educated in any way whatsoever.
Well, we found out she had no training.
And that comes from the
really.
top down.
Right.
You know,
Right.
I was surprised at how clueless, honestly. I was really shocked at the way John entered. I thought that was like so over the top. I mean, granted, I know his daughter was sitting in the bar, and he's very, very passionate about people getting sick and the cross-contamination. And no, it's not good. But I thought he could have been a little more effective in the way he conveyed himself. Go!
Wait, you got to come up here. Come up here. Maria Menounos in studio with
Sorry.
us. Watches the show with me. Sit down.
I'm sorry. I am watching this, and I have to say, A, I love Bar Rescue. B, I wish you guys would invite me to be part of the show. C, what
do you mean?
I'm kidding. I'm horrified by the conditions of that kitchen. There was
Yeah.
a dead rat in the back that was all smushed. First of all, how did it get smushed is what I want to know. A rat
It's been back there for a
dies.
long
How
time.
does it get smushed unless people were dropping equipment or something back there on it? That I didn't understand. And then also, it is common sense. I'm sorry if you were not trained. It is common sense to not touch chicken and other things at the same time. Every time I cook in my kitchen, I'm constantly...
Not common sense.
Yes, it is, Kevin. It is common sense. Salmonella poisoning
I think we're
is
underestimating.
very, very bad.
Right.
But I'm washing my hands like a maniac throughout this process of cooking.
That I get.
But it is common sense to not be touching things with your bare hands anyway.
Did you see her? It's one person in that kitchen.
And may I just say
And she
this
can't even keep up.
one last thing. Let me just sound off for one more time. I am a patron of these kinds of places. I love eating in bars. I love nachos and beer and chicken fingers and things like that. And now, after watching this show, I'm kind of scared, even though I'm never going to stop, being a patron at these places. I want to go into their kitchens and see, because I'm terrified at the diseases and the disgusting things I'm putting into my body in these places, because none of these people are trained that are opening up these bars, obviously, right?
Right.
These are just like, hey,
tonight's episode.
you and I, let's just go open up a bar. What do I know about opening up a bar?
Yeah.
Right? And that's what this guy is really showing us, is these people don't have the knowledge. They're opening up these
No.
places, and they're serving us in such dangerous ways. Scary.
Yeah,
You're
and
So
gonna
what
think
does that
this.
make you want to, before you go into a bar, find out
Every
if
time
someone's
now.
actually owned a bar before, if they have any education? I want to know who's cooking.
I want to do
That
an
grosses
interview
me.
now every time I go
Yes.
into a restaurant.
Every
I'm
time
going
I
to
go to
interview
Chili's.
everyone, right? We're going to do this.
When I go into Chili's next, I'm asking them to put me in that kitchen, because I love Chili's.
I
but
wanna
you
see
know
who's
that
back there
place
cooking.
Is super busy, and you know that there's a good possibility it is not.
Okay,
up to par.
but you guys, don't
I
most
just offended the whole
restaurants
franchise,
and bars
actually,
have to
I'm a
have the
little,
letter on the outside?
But I love you, Chili's.
Don't most restaurants and bars, any place that serves food, have to have the letter on the outside from the from the health inspector
in California?
Because there was no. Oh, well, that was
But mind you,
Baltimore.
And I didn't tell you, but Fox is filming us right now. So everyone who's listening to us right now, just know that we're being filmed, and that's why there's a big camera in our face.
Did you notice there was no letter?
Yeah, good point.
There's no letter on the front.
But it is
And
in
if they would've
Maryland,
went-
Maryland,
and
right.
so you don't know in Maryland and whether
Right.
or not they do that, because it doesn't matter if you have a letter or not. If anybody walked into that kitchen, that place would be closed down
So, Maria,
right away.
Right.
Do you think John was justified in his yelling?
Yes, I think he was justified. I think that he's definitely playing it up because he wasn't like this last season. And I think that, reality television, they're like, okay, up the ante a little. When you see Kitchen Nightmares and you see him like going off on people, I think they're trying to get that same kind of vibe. He's intimidating enough. I don't think he really needs to scream.
Agreed.
So it wasn't necessary, but was it justified? Abso-freaking-lutely.
Yeah.
People are going to die at the hands of these people that really shouldn't be doing this.
Yeah, I don't think people realize how severe it is with cross-contamination
Hey, Maria?
and how
Yes.
small amount
We're
it
going to
takes.
bring in the bar owner so you can actually talk to him.
We're going to bring in the bar owner. Can
Awesome.
I just tell you that oh my God,
On the
is the
phone.
bar owner here?
He's on the phone.
Oh boy, here we go. I will
this
say
is
this. Do you
Keith.
know how many times I've gotten food poisoning and I've been in a hospital, literally no blood pressure, shaking
horrible.
for over 24 hours.
Yep.
I can't stop and plug anything
Yep.
up. Like everything is just
Front and
from people like this.
Yes.
So I'm very passionate about this. Anyhow, I'm going to put some headphones on so I can hear this guy who's going to probably chew me out right now.
He's on the line right now.
and this is do we have Keith?
Let me put my headphones on over here.
Keith,
Hello there.
how are you?
I am great.
Have you-
so excited to hear such positive things about me.
Absolutely. Hey, we're nothing but positive things here. Thank you so much. Thanks for agreeing to do the interview over the phone.
Oh, hey, no problem.
I don't suppose Joel's with you, is he?
No, Joel is not. He is not with me.
Are you guys, for our listeners, Keith is one of the two owners was of J.A. Murphy's. It was Joel and Keith and their old high school, college buddies decided to open up a restaurant together, and so that's the episode tonight you guys are seeing. We have Keith on the line. Keith is the one that's not bald, just for some of you.
But Keith was actually the one who really he took the brunt of Lafferty's comments, where
Keith was
the
the
other guy,
narcissist.
the other guy was just kind of laughing off to the side.
I know,
and
almost
seemed to
the
be
whole
the biggest part
time.
of the problem.
Yes. Yep, we had talked about that. He definitely seen,
Yeah, that was bothersome.
Keith, are you and Joel, are you guys still buddies? I know neither of you own a bar now. So are you guys still...
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. We're still great friends. The experience didn't turn out the way it could have, but, the friendship's one thing different than business.
So what do you think? When the episode was over and they showed the little paragraph that talks about the bar and how the bar was doing, and it seemed like things had really, really picked up. Your sales had went up. The bar, the aesthetics of the bar, I mean, it was absolutely beautiful. What do you think made the restaurant close?
Well, look, I mean, there's a serious reasons, obviously, but, what he did was great. It looked wonderful. I have nothing but great things to say about it. However, can you guys still hear me?
Yeah, go ahead, Keith.
Oh, okay. Sorry. However, when you make a drastic change like that in a neighborhood bar that's used to one thing, regretfully, you can easily get snubbed. And, the people that were coming in for the type of atmosphere we had, which was, in a sense, just binge-drinking, weren't so quick to keep coming, afterwards, even with the nice renovations. Because at the end of the day, we still weren't going to be a nice restaurant. The niche that we had, was kind of gone when the place was cleaned up, I suppose.
Keith, you know what? We're getting bad reception. Melissa, let's hang up on Keith. Keith, we're going to call you right back.
Sure, no
I
problem.
apologize to our listeners. Okay.
And
Okay.
that's precisely what happens when we have a technical difficulty.
Yeah. So wait, I didn't know
was
they wait. I didn't know they closed.
Yes, July 1st. Actually, they've owned it for 4 years together.
Okay.
And then of course the bar started failing. So then they called Jon Taffer.
Right.
He came in. March? They shut in March. They closed in July.
Wow.
A lot of these places do end up closing. I mean, we see the success story for a little while. Like, what happens, I mean, just like with anything, you know, I had a dog trainer train my dogs. I was all into it in the beginning, and then I slowly lapsed back into my old ways. And so if you can't keep up what he's teaching you, and your staff can't keep it up, and you're not managing it, then
the problem is, as a
Right.
producer, you want to find a bar that's going to be entertaining and has great characters and all that stuff. But then what goes along with that is there may not be any success. I mean, the Pirate Bar we know was going to fail. Like, we knew it was going to fail, right? I mean, but how entertaining? Would you rather see
still
him
open.
succeed? Right, but did they succeed?
We don't know
No,
the
but
details.
still,
She's
it's
still,
like-
but still living with her parents
In the basement.
but
she
they're
just has-
still open.
They're still, yeah. But would you? I wouldn't say that's successful. But that's not successful.
Wait,
Well, maybe
what's
in
still
her
open?
mind, though. I mean, she still has a bar.
She said she got nothing out of the experience from John. She said
Right.
that. She said, I got nothing out of it. Nothing.
Well, and
remember?
then now there's the difference between her and Keith. Keith says he learned so much. He's
Right.
so thankful for the experience. Now,
Right.
someone like him could have said the complete opposite, which a lot of people end up in those situations doing. They get bitter and, you know, they don't want to ever take the blame
They don't
or the
wanna admit it. No.
responsibility.
Right, and I think
And we have Keith
I think that's
back
what happened
on the
as well.
line.
Hi, Keith.
Hey, Keith.
Hi guys, now I can hear you.
Better. And by the way, Keith, we were giving you
awesome.
Keith. We were just giving you some love, so it's not all bad. Keith, are you from the Boston?
It's fine,
Keith,
trust
are you
me, I deserve it. You know, I was there. I
Are you
just
from the
listened
Boston
to it
area,
because I watched
Keith?
it on TV.
are you from the Boston area?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, I thought so. Where'd you grow up?
I grew up in Lowell, Mass.
Lowell. Wow, hardcore.
Boston.
All right, all
I
right.
spent a lot of time in Lowell.
Oh, it's the crown jewel of the Northeast.
Oh, yeah. Did you ever go to Broadway Pizza?
Of course.
I spent a lot of time at Broadway Pizza. Family friends own it, so.
Oh, it's a great place. They,
Yep.
you know, they will not get a visit from Jon Taffer.
Well, I give you a lot of credit for your humility and
yeah.
and for a lot actually.
Well,
I think it's
You
really
know,
cool.
what people don't understand, and obviously what they didn't convey on the TV show, is that me and Joel, you know, put every dime we had into that bar. More Joel than me. You know, we bought, at the end of the day, a shitty bar, and I don't know if I can say that. And we kept, you know, a shitty bar going on for 4 years. You know, we didn't have the money, we didn't have the resources, and you can hit me with cleanliness across the head with a bat, but at the same time, the place was falling apart. I mean, as you guys said it, that rat, in quotes, was part of the wall. I mean, that was probably there since 1971.
I wonder, Keith, like how much of the show was produced? How much of this did they script out with you guys? Was it all
No,
completely real?
They didn't script out anything, but it is very produced. But it's like anything else. They could have made me out to be any way they wanted to. They could have made Joel out to be, you know, a monster.
Do you think you were accurately portrayed?
Well, Joel's actually pretty accurate. But, you know, I mean, you know, like I told people, you know, I felt like, you know, it was pretty accurate, but, you know, it's definitely produced.
Yeah, I didn't feel he was portrayed in a bad way at all. I mean, just a little bit unknowledgeable about how to open up a bar and keep one running.
Was this a genuine attempt on your behalf to really save this bar? Were you guys really looking at this as your last-ditch effort?
Now, that is a great question. No one's asked me that. Truth be told, it was more an exit strategy than anything else. We had already realized that this wasn't going to pan out. So, you know, when we got the opportunity to be on it, we said, okay, let's you know, let's see if this does fix it. But we've done a lot of damage in 4 years.
But did they approach you?
I don't think 5 days is going to turn it around.
Did they approach you?
I'm sorry, what? Yes, actually, kind of aggressively.
How did they find you and know that you guys were suffering?
Well, actually, one of my bartenders, Katie, actually, I believe reached out to them. And, you know, like I think I heard you guys say earlier, it is about ratings, and it's about things of that magnitude. So I think once they saw the situation I was involved in, I became a little more interested, and that's why they were a little more aggressive about it.
I have one last question. The thing that interests me most about this show is, you know, the difficult walk for you guys as the owners to allow yourselves to be exposed. How hard was it for you to have them walk in to your patrons and kick everyone out and say, this is a dangerous place to be. They could kill you with salmonella poisoning. Like, wonder.
I'm the first to say it's a TV show, but that was difficult. I mean, that absolutely was. And you know, you guys all saw the way Jon came in, so I mean, it was embarrassing. You know, at the end of the day, so it was difficult. And but you move on from this, and you know, hopefully you can be a better person, I guess, after.
What's next?
For me, I'm really not sure. It's just been, you know, it's really just kind of been a few weeks. So definitely out of the food and beverage industry, so everyone can breathe a sigh of relief there.
Did the bar close, or did someone else buy it?
The bar closed.
Well, one more thing I wanted to mention real quick in regards to the health department.
Thank you.
A's across the board.
Ooh, what is that? What does that mean?
But how is that possible?
What are you saying about the health department?
Wow.
I am speaking the truth. You wouldn't be able to, you know, they come twice a year. They spend a few hours there or whatever, and I've never had it been shut down for a minute.
So you didn't even know anything was wrong, probably. If you're getting an A from the health department, you think you're doing something right.
Yeah, exactly. You know, it's like, you know, it's these things, and I'm not trying to find any justification or try to sway your guys' opinions. Because
no, we can tell.
It was horrible, let's be honest. But I'm just saying, you know, I didn't inherit this bar. I didn't have a ton of money with Joel to make things better. You know, we did the best we could in a situation that we were unprepared for due to our own faults. And the city and our success kind of, I guess, made us a little lackadaisical, I suppose.
I have to say, like, I actually sympathize with the fact that, you know, you're always looking to a higher power to tell you if you're doing something right or wrong. You go to the doctor tells you to take this medicine, this will make you feel better. We're taught not to really question authority in those ways. And so if the health department is giving you A's, you're like, hey, we're doing great. What's the problem? Right. I totally understand that. And I have to say,
you're 100% right.
I commend you again for your honesty and your humility. I think that it's such an admirable quality, and you never hear people be like this, and you have a new fan in me, I have to say.
Oh, well, thanks so much. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on, guys. And, you know, you've got a new fan, too, because I enjoy the show.
Thank you.
Keith, good luck with everything, buddy.
All right, thanks. I appreciate it. Have a great night.
I mean, I'm so glad I jumped in on this.
That's nice. That was pretty cool.
And how about him knowing he knew when to cut himself off?
We could have asked him more questions.
No, he was like,
we could have kept talking to him.
Yeah, but he was like, he gave us what he needed and he moved on.
He felt the natural flow of an interview.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Maybe that'll be his next career path. Maybe he'll come be a host on AfterBuzz. Who knows?
I'm going to go finish our Fox interview, but thanks for letting me crash.
Thanks
because
for
I was
joining.
very passionate after watching that.
Okay, but isn't it a great show, Maria?
I love
and how
Bar
great
Rescue.
Is Jon?
Are you kidding me? I'm obsessed.
Well, now you know.
Obsessed. I love it.
After we did Breaking Bad, we went home. It was like 1 in the morning. I said, Maria, we have to watch Bar Rescue.
This is what I love about the show is it teaches you. Like for me, I watch it. I've always wanted to open up like a bar and a restaurant and things like this. I remember back in Boston when I went to Emerson, I would scope out empty places that we needed to leave.
Talking about, see?
That's what we were talking about earlier, about how everybody wants to open up a bar.
Yeah, like I always dreamed about like, oh, and I would have a bar here and I would have this. I would always create it in my mind. And you think you can just go in and do these things and you just can't. There's an art to everything. And you can't just be cavalier and think that no training is required and that you can just step into things.
And how often do we all see it in our business where it's like, I could be an actor?
Yeah.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, geez.
Yeah.
So you've never trained. You've never.
I've owned my own place. And it's not, I didn't own it in the States. I owned it in Italy. And even in Italy or the United States, I'm kind of happy I did it there. But here, owning one in the States, it's all about insurance. Like up the wazoo, what times you can have glassware, what time you can have plasticware, what times you can actually drink out of a beer bottle, what times you have to. There's so much to it that people don't think about when they're going into opening up a bar, and so much headache that goes into opening up a bar.
Yeah.
And I actually had one of my old bar owners that I used to work for. He actually sat me down one day for 2 hours and said, "This is why you don't want to open up a bar." And he has a popular bar right on the Jersey Shore, does great. And he's like, "This is why you don't want to open up a bar." And I was like, from then, I did not open up a bar.
Here you are. All right, I'm going to jump out, you guys.
Bye, Maria.
Bye.
You guys, I'm a little surprised that with all the education that he received from Mr. Taffer, and now he does know how to open a bar. He knows how to run things. He knows what to do, why he didn't take those resources and maybe start over.
What an amazing opportunity to learn from the best in the world, you know?
Yeah.
Well, taking it from someone who made a movie and lost everything because of it, his resources are depleted. So maybe, who knows, he's got to recharge those. That takes a long period of time.
And this just happened. It is still
That's what I
fairly
mean.
recent.
It takes a long time to get the money back. And then you don't want to borrow from somebody. If you're he sounds like a good kid. He doesn't want to borrow from somebody because it's like, oh my God, I'll never be able to pay them back. And then you have such an incredible sense of failure. And so I get it. I get it.
Yeah, and he did say one thing when he said this was our exit strategy.
That was
That's so
I wasn't
they were
expecting
already out of it before they even got there.
Now, the smart play would have been to try to sell it right after, which maybe they tried.
Especially in the height of all the publicity.
And
It's
you've got a
brand
new bar,
It's
right.
a brand new bar.
And try to flip it, but...
But again, that's another art form. Something else to learn.
That's a whole other
That's
thing.
a whole other beast.
I'm sad actually that it didn't go on.
Yeah, me too.
I love the rebranding of that.
It was great. So clean and nice.
And they could have still had it as a college bar. They didn't change it as much as I think Keith made it seem like they changed it. They changed it enough, but it was still could have been the drinking crowd, the college crowd, but still.
We taught the guy some flair.
Well, yes.
Right?
Seems like we're getting rid of pirates this time around.
Exactly.
But you guys, what was
I'm
that?
still upset about pirates, you guys. This
can't mention it in front
lady
of him.
living at home with her parents has totally ruined everyone else's.
We had some people tweeting. They're like, Kimlai, you were so sympathetic. We hope you're not going
We
to
all
be
were.
that
No. We
sympathetic
all
this
were.
week."
No, we all were.
like-
And then I just kind of woke up, and it's Phil of all people, who's like 22, is like, "Are you kidding me? She just wants to be a kid and live at home and doesn't care about her kid or the partner or whatever. Just be a fantasy. Be Peter Pan's tournament at everyone else's expense."
Exactly. So,
Well, she has our YouTube link. She emailed the other day and she's like, "Can I get a copy of that?" Absolutely. And I want her to be able to show that too. No one's saying anything bad about. I mean, okay.
Well, guys,
We love the Murphys.
I need to ask you guys something. This is where I'm going back to the bar. Well, okay, so we're done with the kitchen. Basically, we handled the whole cross contamination. It's bad. It's just bad. So let's go to the bar.
Well, before we go into the bar, can we talk about Amazon for a second?
Yes.
Tell us about Amazon.
Amazon. Well, you know what you can do if you want to buy a book, let's say Bartending for Dummies.
Yep.
You can go right to our site, AFTERBUZZ,
Right.
and you can go and buy it on Amazon. And it helps us. It helps you because then you can catch maybe there's a show you didn't know that we do that you might like. And it really does help us and keeps the lights on here, keeps us
We
coming
get a
here
little
and joking.
kickback, and we all have fun.
Exactly.
Right? I really need to bring that margarita machine I brought.
Yeah, what
you were
happened with
supposed
that? You were
to bring
supposed
that.
to do
I
that.
forgot it. I bought it on Amazon. This is such a bad American. Went to AFTERBUZZ, bought this margarita machine, and it just sits there in the box. Just horrible.
Okay, we're
think
going to
it needs to
remind
sit
you.
right there.
Yeah, we're
Yeah,
going to
'cause
remind
that
you.
Next week I'll bring it.
I mean, we
Fits
are
with the
talking
theme of the
about a
show,
bar show,
Yes,
for God's
we have
sake.
it. And it's actually kind of cool looking too.
Okay, you guys, speaking of the bar,
Yes.
I have okay, these whole 2-for-1s. I was asking Phil, I'm talking about branding.
Yep.
Okay. I thought it was very interesting that the person they show chugging, 75% more than you're actually supposed to drink,
Yeah.
is an Asian guy. Everyone knows that the enzyme isn't there to really break down alcohol, so that was
Dorinda
sad.
confused right now.
That was sad in itself.
But enzyme's not there? I don't understand.
No.
What
a lot
is there?
of Asian people.
That is true.
It's true. A lot of
no,
Asian
I love
people.
this.
There's
This
the enzyme isn't there to break down the alcohol. So that's why a lot of Asians can not drink a lot.
Oh.
Their faces will get red. Like my brother and I, completely opposite. His ear, half a beer, cheeks, face, the hives break out on the arms.
And Dorinda, you knew this.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
It's
I
not
had
just-
a lot of Asian customers, especially downtown, and they'd have like one drink,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden bright red,
Yeah.
like they had the worst
it's an
sunburn in the
allergic
world.
reaction to alcohol.
It's true.
And it's there you go. And so I thought it was very interesting that already the pour, it was 3 different drinks.
Oh my God.
Was
Was there
already
anything attractive about that drink? Did
No.
anyone want to drink
No.
that?
It looked like they were cleaning the bar up. Like
it looked
after
like the cleaning fluid that was
I-
in the bar that they
I'm
didn't
gonna
know what
go
it
out on a
was.
limb here. I think I'd rather have grog. I think I would have rather had the grog
I should
than
have
that
her
thing.
send us that recipe. But you know
But
what?
it looked awful. Oh my gosh.
You guys, I'm wondering.
And that's like, someone could get hurt from that.
Yeah.
You know?
That's Asian or no Asian. That's bad.
Yeah,
that's
bad.
just bad.
Bad. A lot of fluid.
No, you can't even get into a car after that.
No.
I mean, and that's like hours of you can't get into a car after that. Because, I mean, there was a shot inside of a shot inside of a shot inside of a shot.
Girl, that was a pitcher.
And then they expect you to drink it in 10 seconds for free.
Yep.
Did you see how fast he drank
did
it?
it in 16 seconds.
Oh,
16.65 seconds.
It was hard.
Let's try again.
It seriously was hard watching it. I felt
Yeah.
the burning sensation
This whole
in your
episode was
chest.
an emotional experience
Yes.
on a number of fronts, including that.
You guys, I have a quick question. I wanted to ask you guys, you know how they put the cameras and they say, oh, these are all hidden cameras? And do you think anybody knows? I mean, someone has to know those are there.
That's what I wanted to ask him.
How do they do that? You know this stuff.
Shoot. Well, no,
That's a
they
good
well,
question.
well. Listen, if I were producing it, I would put the cameras in there. But the problem is the owner's going to know.
Someone
right?
has to know.
And then the problem becomes: is the owner buddies with the workers, or does he like? Are there certain things he doesn't want the public to see? Does he say to them, "Listen, you know, like basically like at Pirates"? Now, by the way, because she was a child owning a bar, that's what a child would do: is tell your other child friends, your other kids in kindergarten. You're going to tell them, "Oh, guess what? The secret cameras are in. Wink, wink. We're all pirates." You know. So with her, that's why you remember on that episode, they all were very presentational. They all knew. I don't know. I'm sure the owners know that the cameras are in there.
Don't they have to sign like releases and that kind of thing?
Absolutely. Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Everyone signs their life away.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
we'll ask. We have another person, actually, Katie. She was the bartender during the filming of this episode. She's going to be calling in
good.
just
So
a
let's
bit as
ask
well.
her.
So
We can
that's
ask her.
something we'll
yeah, I have another
definitely.
question to
And
ask
you
her,
were getting
too.
ready to say something about the bar.
Oh,
minute ago.
the bar. Oh, like about the cleanliness of it and every.
Oh, I thought you were getting ready to say something about the bar.
Oh no. Yeah, I want to ask her too about the cleaning supplies. How they bartenders had to buy.
no,
cleaning
they bought
supplies.
their own. But then he showed them that there was some under there.
And they didn't know that that was cleaning fluid. You guys, the maggots. I just okay. I honestly don't understand how
nauseous.
the health department can come in and how any of.
By the way,
this is-
that is scarier than it was. One thing that this self-contained bar, we can all sleep at night knowing, okay, there's this one bar, it was totally gross, blah blah blah, and it got shut down. Now that we know that passed inspection, how scary is that? That means any bar, at least in that state, that's really scary.
Yeah.
Ugh, that was when he said they had AIDS. The look on my face was like, "You have to be kidding me!" Because I will say, in Los Angeles, the health department here is spot on. I've worked in enough restaurants here, and I mean, they'll give you a B just for something that's just right before it's being cooked and it's laying out.
Boston was the same way. 'Cause
Yeah.
I was in the food business, in the carny business. We had a commissary, and it was very strict.
Yeah, very.
Oh.
So,
you guys, that doesn't make any sense.
Might be that. It must be the state. Or you think? I mean, he seemed honest, right?
Yeah, no, he did.
I
He
think it was
definitely
honest.
seemed genuine, but
We're all going to be more paranoid now. You realize that? I mean, Maria already just said
oh yeah,
that without even
I would
before
like to
he
know
said
who's
that.
cooking in the kitchen,
Yeah, we have to do full interviews
and
now
I'd like
before
the
we go
bar
out for
mats
dinner.
lifted.
Yes, and sprayed. Those.
I want to see
those-
what's
they're heavy.
just
Those.
pooped in my glass.
What, Dorinda, what?
just thinking about like how could you never pick up like the bar mats that were underneath the glass and never think to clean that? How did no one ever see those? I hate saying it because it just makes them gross, but it's just those. How did you never see those bugs, those maggots? How did you never see any of that stuff?
You know what? I wonder too. It's like the people ahead of you, if you don't respect at all the people that you're working with, and they've already, I mean, the GM, she went and started her own bar because there was no respect there as well. They didn't treated her very decently. The Joel guy, not Keith. I don't think that you care too much. It does become just a job.
Do you guys
and
think
you're just there working?
Here's interesting about that whole thing about how he treated people or whatever. He always had this kind of smile on his face. It was
It's a little
interesting.
smirk.
Yeah,
Kind
but
of
I
just wanted
think.
to smack him.
But I wonder if somebody. Yes, I see someone quitting, and then going to a 10 bar somewhere else. But for me, when someone quits and opens their own bar, it's someone who has a plan. I don't know. I just don't. I don't think it's like, you know what. Okay, Maria, you know what? You don't treat me nice, so guess what? I'm going to go start my own AfterBuzz TV network. It's like I wonder if it wasn't in her, if she wasn't planning all along. I mean, to open a bar. If it was one thing if she was going to bartend at another place, I'd say, okay, you were jerks, and she went to a bar where they appreciate her. But she went and opened her own bar, which to me says she was going to do that anyway.
I think so too. I mean,
It's a
she
lot of
was the
planning.
general manager for
So
J.A.
it
Murphy's.
might have been her goal. And furthermore, let me say this: if it wasn't, then she should be thankful that these guys gave her the motivation to go do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the fact that she did it so close was a big FU to them. And here's the thing.
She probably got a really good deal.
Yeah,
on that building.
I knowing a bunch of parts that I've worked in, a lot of these people stay. If you're treated nice and you're making money, they'll stay.
Right.
And they're not going to go off and they're not going to
Open their own?
Well, they might not go,
But
or if they do, they'll do it in a way where it's a friendly then business competition.
I just know
Right.
the people that open it. It's the same in the carny business. When guys would like split off and take their own shows, or they'd have their own. It's like that. That was in their DNA. They were gonna do it.
Yeah.
You know, they just had to get the confidence, learn the business.
Absolutely.
So anyway, I
do
wasn't
I
really.
think that's
I
her
wasn't.
plan? Yeah.
I wasn't shedding really tears for her so much.
Yeah.
I really wasn't. I wasn't. But I was more sensitive to the fact that he was a jerk to his own workers. I really didn't care that he was to her.
Exactly.
She won. She got away. She got a bar. Congratulations.
Yeah.
And they had the preview party there last night, the episode party. Katie was.
Oh wow! At the opposing bar. Wow.
Yeah. And it's Jon was saying during the episode that there's plenty of room. There's plenty of room for a lot of bars. It's like it does become a community effort. It's like, and there's a lot of cross marketing, and that's what you want.
Yeah, I mean, and I think that's where the whole thing, I'm sure she was probably planning. Her whole dream was probably to open a bar, and she went and she did that, and she's definitely much more successful than they are. She's still open.
It was her passion.
It was her passion. It's what she wanted to do. But I'm sure if she was going to go out and do it, she might have not done it around the corner from them. She might have did it a few blocks away, probably would have been friendlier and probably still would have hung out at the bar. But the way they treated her, from the way I'm taking it and the way Joel treated her, it must have been bad for her, the way she felt. Because even the way when she was talking to them,
She was definitely upset.
she was upset and she was hurt. And it was like stuff that they didn't deal with.
Absolutely.
And that's the thing when you're working in businesses like that, or even on a film set, you get like a closeness.
Right.
And so when things start going bad, you get very upset and you take it internally. And she obviously did.
And the bigger lesson I think for him is look what he did. All he did was motivate somebody to compete against him. Where he should have made friends with her and kept her in his fold.
Absolutely.
Exactly. And beat him at his own game.
Right.
You guys, I think we should go ahead, since we have so many questions for Katie. Marissa, can we go ahead and give her a call? And since we're talking about the bar now, I think this would be a good idea. Also want to mention, while we're waiting for her to get on the line, I want to thank everybody that does the downloads, any and all of the after shows on AfterBuzz TV. It's like it helps us, and all we ask is that you guys refer a friend, that you guys leave comments, whether they're good comments or bad comments, but download. We have over 3 million downloads a week, which puts us like really up there. So we just want to thank all of you guys for watching us live on AfterBuzzTV.com, watching it on YouTube, and also doing the downloads on iTunes.
Please go to iTunes, rate and comment on us. It helps.
Yep.
I know a couple of people already did. There were like 3 people that just now, because we've never done the show before, that have woke up to it, and it'll help. It'll help AfterBuzz. It also helps our Bar Rescue show. So.
And with that, I believe we have Katie on the line. AfterBuzz TV, hello.
Hi, Katie.
Katie,
Yes, can you hear me?
we can hear you.
Awesome.
How are you?
Oh, I'm a bit tired, but I am good.
How was your viewing party?
Oh, we had a little bit too much fun at the viewing party.
Did Joel go as well?
No, Joel was not there.
Oh.
Wow. How come?
I mean, after the show, he still really tried to be a little bit more extroverted, but he's still just not that social, party goer that shows up for the events.
Really? Wow.
Yes.
Did Keith go?
No, Keith, to my understanding, no longer lives in Baltimore.
Oh, wow. He's probably back in Boston. Okay. So what did you think of the episode?
The episode was actually not as bad as I thought, which might sound surprising to you, because it was pretty hard for a lot of people to watch.
It was hard for us to watch, especially the cleanliness of the kitchen and bar was just it was nauseating for us. But we liked you guys.
Yeah.
We liked and we loved Keith, but it was really difficult to watch.
Katie, what was it like when they started lifting up the mats and you saw all the maggots underneath the mats? I mean, were you guys not aware of how really dirty that place was?
Okay, well, actually, obviously I can't speak for the kitchen, despite the fact that I can only say that we all, as employees there, ate there on a daily basis as well. But in regards to the bar cleanliness, obviously that's my side of things.
Right.
And I actually am very excited to talk about these supposed maggots because although they weren't exactly maggots, they were dried mealworms. And I would love to say that that's even better, but when they lifted that up, I was just as shocked. And I'm making, side eye at the boys, like, what is that and where did that come from? And after we are done shooting, they basically came and said to me, yeah, so we had a thing of dried mealworms behind the bar. Somebody had them, somebody opened the lid and spilled them, and this was like the day or two before the show showed up.
Wow.
So although they grossed me out because they did throw it at me, which wasn't on this show,
right.
I did not know what it was either, and I jumped back just like everyone else, but the boys did explain that it was their fault.
All of these things we find out.
Yeah, Dorinda, you had some questions for her.
Wow.
Okay. Now the cleaning supplies situation. Let's talk about this. You guys had to buy your own
Murphy's oil.
Yeah, well, that's what that looked like. It looked like Murphy's oil, but you need more than that to clean a bar. And so you guys were saying that you had to buy the cleaning supplies?
Yes, towards the end. I mean, when we were busy, we were usually stocked, but once we started going downhill, there was a lot of times that we didn't always have, like, the sanitizing tablets for the sink or the correct glass cleaner, or we didn't always have, like, the proper products. So when we had big events and things where we really knew we were actually going to pull a good amount of people, most of the time it was the staff who went out and bought all the cleaning products to come in early and really do a good job on the bar. And we would buy the decorations. We would buy everything for the bar when we had to.
Oh, okay.
Did you guys get reimbursed for that?
That's a good question.
We were told that we would be, and I mean, I'm not going to say that I wasn't because I didn't follow up. Most of us didn't follow up. It's kind of hard because it's like you know that your bar is in a tough situation, so you kind of do it and you think it's not a big deal and you don't want to be reimbursed. But then, yeah, at the end of the day, after a couple times, you are kind of bitter about it, I guess.
And that's definitely not your responsibility to be
it's
purchasing
not at
that.
all.
I'm keeping an eye here on our Facebook and Twitter, and I have a question from Kyle Scott. He says, hiring and then not training people will always get you in trouble, and I think we would all agree. And he goes on to say, Jon's people are great trainers. I want to know, what was it like working with his team for those few days?
Oh, I absolutely loved his team. I actually think that I was the most excited, which I'm also surprised it didn't show because literally when they introduced them, in particular Chris Cardone, who was our flair trainer, I literally jumped off of my bar stool because I had secretly wanted to learn flair for so long, but it's just not something that's, readily available these days because it's just not popular since like late 90s, the 2000s. So I was very excited to work with them.
I wonder, I was curious as to why he brought in a flair person. I mean, what determines bringing in a flair person? I mean, he had his mixologist there. He had his chef Duffy. Why this episode did he bring in a flair specialist?
I think it's exactly what he said. It was like we were known for being a fun bar. We were known for, I mean, even though it made it seem like it was all drunken regulars, I mean, on an average Sunday, I could pull so many tourists who had heard about our drinking challenges and we had to spin the wheel that lands on, shots or drinks or all these things. And people would come into that stuff. I mean, people really did love it. So I felt like he needed to find a way for us to be fun without us, being trashed.
Right.
Losing profit in the process.
Well, and it seemed like the demographic went up too, because you guys were catering more towards like, I was going to say lower 20s, like early 20s. And then when he did the demographic of the area, it was like 35.
Yeah, I mean, it's a hard thing because Fells Point, Baltimore is very small, which I guess a lot of people don't realize, and Fells Point is one of the cluster areas of all of the major bars. But because it's so close to the water, the people who actually live in that area are a little bit older. They do make a little bit more money. So although we did have a lot of regulars who did walk from the area, we had a lot of people that traveled to come from different parts of Baltimore because we were so cheap.
Oh, wow. Well, yeah. Did you think that shot was a good shot? That shot that was featured in the episode last night?
The Inception.
Yeah.
Inception.
Do you agree with that?
I would love to say that that I was on that board for, I would never do that. I mean, I could never handle that in my life. I saw many people do it. I mean, we had boards filled. We basically would, the owners or the bartenders would create a challenge. We would have it run for like a month, and we would create a time that you had to complete each one by, and we would fill an entire board of people who qualified, and then they would go into a Hall of Fame board.
Wow.
So, I mean, like, the Inception, granted, was one of the, we'll say, strongest, one of the strongest that we've done. There was probably one other one.
Girl, it was in a picture.
I have a question.
Oh, my God.
Sure.
Did somebody actually finish that in 10 seconds or under? That's what I want to know.
Oh, absolutely. I said I had an entire board.
The whole wall.
With people's names of under 10 seconds. I mean, I think girls were like, they always give the girls a couple extra seconds. Because, but I think, yeah, most of the board was filled when we retired that one. And then we created an Inception 2.0, which was
how is this real?
An even worse version.
I know. Did anyone ever leave? Like, they couldn't drive? They hit a bus? I mean, I don't understand how no one ever left that place and there's no liability to the bar at all.
I mean, I know. It's like I said about Baltimore, I mean, it's smaller than everybody thinks. So most people do take public transportation, do walk. I mean, of course, there were people that left their trash. But then there's a lot of people, I hate to say, I feel like our area, the people that come in there are seasoned. It's not an excuse for it, but I really we didn't have many. It wasn't a regular nightly process where we had to walk someone physically out.
Right. And it was news to us that the bar ended up closing. I mean, you don't see that in the credits of the show. It says they had all the success, and then we find out tonight that it closed. Were you disappointed to see that happen?
Absolutely. I mean, you heard Keith say that I was the one that had contacted them. So it was kind of like my baby. I was the only girl working there at the time, and I felt like the boys didn't see what was going on, and they kept saying, and the boys, of course, as owners, have egos, and they didn't see that, or at least they weren't admitting that something was wrong. So I had contacted them, and I had done so much work. It was, I wanted them to be there so bad that when we got chosen, I thought, we're set. We, this is going to save us. And at the time, I thought that, we really deserved it. But we actually, and earlier you had talked about it, we actually closed in May. We didn't close in July. We closed only 2 months after the show left.
Oh.
Yeah, it wasn't very long.
I thought that Keith had said July. It was early July. Did you guys know the cameras were there? Those hidden cameras?
Yeah, we did. I mean, it was like one of those things where they came in that day, and we were told all the cameras are going in. But we didn't. We find out that day. You don't know. They don't ever confirm for you that you're chosen. You know that you've been doing well because you've been, moving along in the process.
Right.
But you're not even positive you're chosen, and then one day they show up and put in cameras and tell you to show up, and you're just waiting for him to burst in the door and scare you a new one.
So yeah, okay, you guys kind of know.
Anxiety-ridden, really.
Well, Katie, I'm sorry that we have to wrap this up so quickly with you, but our show is running long. So I want to thank you so much for letting us call you and answering the questions about the show, and thank you so much today. You tweeted your butt off today and retweeted. So I really
thanks for asking me on.
Absolutely. Good luck, girl.
All right, thank you.
Okay, you guys, we could keep talking about this. We still have to get into the remodeling and the rebranding of the restaurant bar. Wow. Okay, so we're gonna do it quick, you guys.
Let's do it.
Okay, so we all like what they did.
Love the rebranding. Love that they incorporate their mistakes. As someone who brands restaurants, I do this frequently. I love that they acknowledge what the customer is thinking, right? The customer's coming in there knowing what this was before, and it was a disaster. Yeah. And so they incorporate that in the rebranding, and I think that is brilliant. Acknowledge your mistakes, you know, establish that rapport, that respect, rather than pretend it never happened, when we know it happened, you know?
And Tammy got redemption.
Yeah.
She got a sandwich on there because it was a mistake, which I thought was fantastic. Her little fried grilled cheese sandwich.
She looked so happy after all of that.
She was very happy.
She knew. I think she knew. Remember with that one scene when she looked back, it's like, I thought she was going to say something to Jon Taffer, but I mean, obviously they cut. But I felt bad for her for a second, and then I didn't, because she learned so much. And she's still there. Oh, she was. Still there. I thought it was, I really liked that they changed the name to Murphy's Law. I thought that was very, very appropriate.
Very clever.
And that, you guys, every wall on the picture, or every picture on the wall was a mistake.
Yeah.
Yes.
That had happened when it was, oh my gosh, I'm calling it Murphy's Mess. It was not called Murphy's Mess.
Murphy's Law.
No, but what was the old name? J.A. Murphy's.
Yeah.
When it was J.A. Murphy's. So all the mistakes, all the rotting, the rat, the mealworms, everything, there was a picture. And I thought that was... Man, if that's not an indication of how far you've come, I think it's sad to know that the restaurant is closed.
I do
the bar,
too. I'm disappointed.
Well, it's more a restaurant.
Because I wasn't as crazy about the rebranding of Byron's Tavern. I mean, none of us were. We thought it was. It was not. It just wasn't. It wasn't interesting, and this was beyond interesting. This is something where if I was to go in there, I would literally walk around every single one of those pictures and, you know, make sense of it, and that's really cool. I don't know.
As you're sipping on the pretty yellow and pink cocktails that they now know how to make.
I'd have a few of those. Not the disaster that she was talking about. The
Inception.
The Inception. That's,
For some reason, I like to say it that way. Inception.
Well, I can't believe there's an Inception 2, or there was. Oh, it's so weird to talk about it now, knowing that it's closed. Okay, you guys, we're going to wrap this up, but Dorinda, earlier you had mentioned that you had some info on Chef Duffy, and do you want to just give it to us real quickly?
Well, here's the thing about Chef Duffy. He was on season 1. He came in and he started at Downey's, which is in Philadelphia, and he turned that place around because that's where he's from. And actually, that's where he had gotten his start, was at Downey's. So when he came in his first show, it was kind of interesting that he was helping the place that gave him his start.
Right.
He obviously, the people that work on this show, on Bar Rescue, all have amazing backgrounds. He does a show, I think it's on the Food Network, and he got a start called Date Night. That's how he started that. He's been on NBC's Today doing little things like that. And he also does things for HGTV and everything. And on top of that, he does private consulting, which this is what he does, as he goes into places and he changes them, so failing places, and then he turns them into something that makes something good. That's why he got into doing this. Yes, which was pretty awesome. I mean, I really love, his story is great. And he just loves cooking and loves food and loves helping people do better.
I think there's a lot of credit to the show because like you said, every single person does have the background, they have the experience and the knowledge.
Oh yeah,
and it makes this show so credible.
We've had a few episodes already, and they've all been outrageous. What is going to be next? That's what I want to know. Where can you go from here? Right.
More Bar Rescue, more Jon Taffer, taking it to another level.
Love it.
All right, you guys, let's wrap this up. Phil, let us know where we can follow you and find you.
Sure, it's at Phil Pallen, Pallen.
Awesome, Dorinda.
At Lula Cherry Films.
Yay, you guys can follow me as well, at Kimlai Yingling. Thank you so much for joining us tonight for another episode of Bar Rescue. We'll see you all next Monday, 7 p.m. PST. Signing out, everybody. Thank you.
Bye. From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Keven Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.